Hello, welcome to theartclasses.com. Today I am going to show you how I draw and paint a portrait of a Tyrion Lannister. And the face is basically based on the actor Peter Dinklage. I'm not sure if I butchered his last name. But anyways, if you use a pencil and paper, you can just follow along the line and then you get to this point and then you can just kind of render on your own and everything. But I'm just going to explain how I capture the face and how I accentuate or exaggerate a certain part of the face. And I will also have if you want to draw a realistic portrait, I'll have it up here. You can follow the link up on top. It should come up pretty soon, and then it will lead you to the video that you can draw a realistic portrait or whatever that is. Because this is basically based on a realistic portrait, except you moving certain part of the element like eyes and nose and things like that. Okay, I talk a little bit too much. Let's get started. And here we go in Photoshop. I start off with a blank canvas, but I'll make a separate layer for the drawing. And also, if you have any question, post it on a comment on how I do things, or you can go to my channel and take a look at more video on how size of the canvas and the layers, or download my free ebook. So I start off with the basic facial feature, but then I lower the eye line or the horizontal line that you see a little bit. That's where the eye is going to be. And I shrink the nose, which I push the nose up toward the eyes a lot more. So the nose is really closer to the eye. And the mouth, I push it up closer to the nose too. So I kind of like squeeze the face together from the regular normal proportion. And when you look at the reference, or the Peter, the guy that played my favorite character, Tyrion, he has a really pronounced jawline, so I want to emphasize that. And also, the way his eyebrows come off, and he has like a deep eye socket. And on the tip of his nose, he had a little feature that you can accentuate and play on that. So I have his pronounced jawline and cheekbone, and then his lips. And usually he will make like a really cool expression, which you can kind of copy from that. Like a smart ass sort of face. So now, once I lay out the construction line or the foundation line, then I'll just go in and trying to accentuate. But I'm gonna try to make him look a lot more cartoony than just a caricature, because you could call it stylized caricature or whatever it is, but I think a lot of studio use them. You make a caricature or stylize a face and make them a lot more unique or appealing to the style, like Disney do it, Pixar do it, and a bunch of Fox Studio or whatever, and they just make it a lot more cubical or a lot more round. It depends on what movie they're trying to do. And for female, usually they go for the roundness, and for male, they'll just go for the cubical of the face. It's a lot more geometric. And when you really sculpt the face of a person, you can shape it down and trying to break down into the geometry form, and you can easily see how you can put them into a 3D model or a more stylized form. So I'm trying to put his face into a cube or a box, not a cube, but sort of like a boxy line. And I basically imagine the front of his face as a flat plane, and you kind of sculpt that and make that into instead of a round nose, I make it a little more square and push it up a lot more to make him unique, but not too far that you can't recognize who it is. And then I have his cheekbone a little more angular than round. Also his jawline, as you can see, I make it a lot more pointy, or not pointy, but a lot more angular and really flat on the top. Instead of, if you're drawing a realistic portrait, you have to round it up a little bit, but in this one we can play around and accentuate those. And now you can push out his or push in his eye socket a little more and have his eyebrows a little more pronounced. So now I have basically I'm pretty much happy with the face. It's a lot easier to do. Some of the face are a lot easier to do than the others. Like when I did Nick Fury, that was pretty easy. The female one is quite a bit harder because you're trying to make them look clean and appealing, and you don't want to make them look comical, but it depends on the character. But on Tyrion, you can make him look comical and cool at the same time. You know, he has like a strong jawline, like a manly man sort of thing, but then he still have his cockiness face, that the look of, you know, hey, you can't outsmart me or something. Like, he's one of my favorite characters from Great Game of Thrones. And now I use multiply to quickly add a basic shadow. Just apply it to the geometry, whatever part that, you know, imagine the whole face have some kind of plane, and you just, if it's a box, like the front will be a plane, and the side, like I just make a really base shadow on the side of the box there, and then it's just gonna have the same value on the side of the face. You can go to my channel and look for how to shade face and basic, and you know, I'll have a bunch of tutorial on how to shade the construct the face and things like that. Or go to my website or get my premium tutorial if you want a 2-3 hours instruction in one. But this is pretty basic lighting. There's nothing advanced here. Just, you know, the lighting coming on from the front, and then the side can receive the shadow, and you just make a basic shadow lighting. And I usually like to add some red on the nose and on the lips. Just like if you look at a Disney or Pixar 3D character, you will see that they have like a little bit of red cheeks in most of them to give it some life instead of. And if you see like the real person, sometimes, you know, if you notice in live drawing session or whatever, if you're trying to paint a person, you see that the skin has more than just one color. It doesn't matter if your skin is really dark or if your skin is light or mid-tone. There will be some little bit of more color than just one color. So try to notice that next time you look at a person's face, but don't stare at them for too long. You might get weird. And now on the top of his nose bridge, I put down a little bit of shadow because I want to make it kind of dent into his face, and then his nose kind of poking out a lot more. So I try to make the exaggeration of the facial feature on that part also. And eye socket, nose from the side. I basically make his nose angular or square shape, and then has it face up a little more from bottom and have the top part facing a little more up. So I push it up slightly a little, so make him a little more stylized. And his eyes is basically, his eyes is also very important to make it slightly bigger than usual. Not as big as mostly female characters got really big eyes for no reason. I think it's appeal, it looks like baby or something. But most of the male character that I try to do, I'm trying not to give them too big of an eye. Just give, I try to give him a little more mature look. And especially if Tyrion is making his expression of a certain kind of way of thinking, then you certainly can't make him look innocent and pure. So there I add some eyebrows on there, but it shouldn't be black. I'm trying to add a little brown and yellow back in. It's supposed to be blonde, but it's a lot easier to put, like when you do cartoon character or stylize, it's a lot easier to convey when you're putting a pure color or a little more saturated color to punch up the character or to punch up the look of the character. So the color is more vibrant when you try and design a cartoon, not so realistic character. But on a realistic character, you have to subdue a certain part to make them look a lot less cartoony. So the saturation of color or the brightness or have a lot to do with realism and cartoon and trying to tone down those elements. So sometimes it's come into play. Not most of the time, not always. There are some exceptions. But even in movies, if you look around, the movie that have a lot of colorful thing, it tend to be more stylized, dreamy movie, more cartoon-like instead of the more subdued color that look a lot more realistic, earth tone, what they say. So now I'm making his lip and his mouth. So I think I basically have the expression and his face in mind already when I'm trying to make this one. So the first try, I instantly was like, this is gonna work. And sometimes when you're making some character, you have a feeling, oh, maybe that's not work. Like when I was trying to make Danny or Daenerys, I have to give it a few trials to make it look simple and not trying to overpaint it. Sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it just works, sometimes it just doesn't. So there we got Tyrion, almost there. Now basically this part is just I'm trying to clean up the character and trying to put everything together. Like imagine this like a scalping, and usually I'm fast forwarding a little too fast. Okay, go right there. So now I'm just trying to put everything together, and I usually merge everything down once I got the color. If I got the color and value that I want, I'll merge it down, and then I'll just, from then I'll pick the color and value that's there, and I'm just gonna work on it again. So I think his face is a little too muddy. It's got muddy color on his face, so I adding some more color onto his face, add a little more red or a pinkish hue. That's what I just did with the soft brush to bring out some more color. You can also do that with the saturation sponge, but that's not what I usually do. Usually if I do the saturation sponge, I will get the color that's way too saturated that I didn't want. And in this one, I want the skin to be a little more subdued to have that variation of color in there, but I want his eyes and his hair to pop out a lot more. And so all the color doesn't punch out together at once. So watch out for color harmony. You don't want a purity of color all over the place. You just want to have, his hair will punch out, his eye will punch out, and then the skin's a little more subdued and a little more, toned down compared to the hair and the nose. I mean, the hair and the eyes. And then I'm trying to reshaping his nose and adding a little bit of part and clean up his eyes a little bit. Yeah, and when sometimes people tend to rush things because like when they see me doing things really fast, I mean, sometimes take your time. Like if I'm recording a tutorial, of course I have to do it within a limit time. But when I'm working, there are times that I stop and I sit around and not doing it and just think and look at the image and just kind of like, what do I need to fix? And that can consume a lot of time, just, thinking, imagining things. And then when you already have an image in mind of what you want, then you're actually going down and paint and doing it in action. And thumbnails or sketch, if you have sketch and thumbnails on hand, usually help the direction that you're gonna go. So say if I have a thumbnail or if I have a sketch, it will go a lot faster. I don't have to like pause and stop and think. I'll just have to look at the sketch that I have and I'll just go on with it because I already worked out the value. Most of the like sketch that you have, you probably have the value workout, the lighting workout. That's what sketch and thumbnails are for, and those are really important. I can't emphasize this enough. And if you don't have a lot of experience painting, it's good to study, do a study copy painting of the master or copy painting of whatever the favorite artist you like, and also do a lot of thumbnails. Practice painting is fun, but doing thumbnail will get you thumbnails and composition will take your work a lot further because it's part of planning. And now I'm trying to make his hair usually a little more curly, but now I'm just painting his hair in terms of just making it straight first, and then I'll add the curl later on. I'll just use a regular brush. So all this from the beginning to the end, I did not use any custom brush at all because I wanted to have this cartoony look and I just wanted a clean look and the fresh of the color. So I just use round and eraser. That's it. And you can goes a long way with just round brush default. And you just go, and all you have to do is alternate between opacity and size. And when you paint lighter on top, and I'm trying to layer his hair to make it look like it has a bunch of layer on top of, you know, the haircut when they're layering your hair. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but there's actually terms putting on layers onto your hair. So it's made like the layers of hair that, you know, you see on the side of his head, one on top of the other. Now I'm just gonna quickly adding his costume, and I actually make an alternate hand later that's holding a cup, which take me about, I don't know, another hour. So I'm not gonna show you here because this is just this is enough. There's a lot of recording, you guys will get too spoiled. So at first I have his fist out, and I was like, that's look weird. Why is he putting his fist out and touch his tummy? So I receded that, and I pushed his finger out instead. So it looked like he's tucking, putting his hand on the hips. There you go. I mean, it takes a while to adjust and get everything the way you want it, the hands on the hips and all the pose, and put the weights on and actually make a wrinkle. And yeah. And usually what I do is I'll cut out the character, and I'll select just the cutout of the character, and then sometimes it's fun this way if you want to make the character pop out of the scene. I usually do on the shadow side, you can add the color from the environment, but make it lighter, or put on dash on your brush with the color of the background, and then just paint on the shadow side to give it some kind of rim light, and then your character will look slightly 3D. It's some kind of optical illusion, I guess. I don't know the word for it, but yeah, it does make your character look stand out. And I found that the color that resembling or similar to the background is best to bring that out. So that's what I'm doing right now with his head, and probably I'm just going to do it for the rest of the body. So it's a little more complicated when I do it on his head. And then you can use Dodge to clean up the face a little bit, and then adding some darker shadow along on some of the part, just to bring out certain part, push in other things. And I'm just gonna add some beard stubble. I'm just using the default Photoshop chalk brush, and then make it slightly a little more apart. And now I'm just gonna delete the excess beard. So there we have Tyrion Lannister, and if you have any question, post it down in the comment. If you have any requests for a new character, post it down in the comment. And there's more video on my channel. If you have any question about digital painting or drawing in general, portrait, body, you can find that. Just type in the Google search and type my name and you'll find my video, whatever question you have. Also, support the website by getting premium tutorial, and then there'll be more free video coming up. Also, I'm doing mentorship class and private lessons, so you can also click for over here for more information, or go visit the website to download this image and subscribe. I'll have more free video frequent. All right, guys, well, have a wonderful day and have fun painting. Subscribe to my channel, download free digital ebook Intro to Digital Painting, and here are some more tutorials for you guys. Check them out.